All right. I know it's been a couple weeks since we've had a team call, and that's because we had a push to diamond group. We're now in a new coach training, and we did a rise to emerald. And one of the things that I hear a lot is that there's a lot of calls and things to do, but I'm really trying to help you guys build up those habits and condition you guys to feel what it's like to do this business all in. And trust me, I feel you guys, there's always a lot going on, but team calls are super important to me. So for the month of May, I do have some awesome guest speakers because I know that I can become white noise sometimes to you guys. So I said, who do I want to speak on my call? And we have Michele tonight. So Michele is one of Ashley, is it Feldestein? Is that how you say her last name? Feldestein? No? Everyone's
but it's okay.
Okay. And I mean, I've loved Ashley and Michele ever since I've met them, but I feel like I kept running into them on the cruise, and I'm totally pulled to their energy and the way that they run their business. And even if I was to take away Beachbody, I love them as people. So I've been getting to know Michele a little bit more. We've been texting back and forth, and I was really inspired to have her speak on our team call because she recently left her full-time job as a nurse to continue to pursue coaching full-time. And that just inspires me because A, I'm petrified of anything medical, and B, I feel like she actually was in the pediatric unit, she was telling me, and Nixon was in the hospital like right when she left. And so it was just like this weird draw where I was like, I want to get to know this girl. And I just know that it takes a lot of work and money and investment of life and just effort overall to become a nurse, a doctor, anything medical. And I don't think that people realize how big of a deal it is to leave a career like that to do this full time. So I think that her story is super cool about how she got started. So she's definitely going to share that with you guys tonight. It's like my favorite story ever. And then I really asked her to just speak to like, what are things that you have done / that you're doing that have helped you see success? And I know that there's a million ways to do this business, but I already know what she's going to say to you guys tonight. And it's really her passion and her energy that I think you guys will enjoy. So sorry if you guys, Nixon is melting full time today, full-time meltdown. So you might hear him. But Michele, tell us a little bit about you. I know that I gave your accolades in my team page. She's a 1-star diamond. She's a Success Club legend or all-star. I forget which one. Also known as Always Hit Success Club, and is awesome. You should follow her on Instagram. Her Instagram is patience. Is it and or N? N? Patience N push-ups, like patience and push-ups. That's hard to say fast. I just love following her because I don't know, she's just someone that I truly can sit there and watch all the clips in her stories, and she gives me ideas for myself because sometimes I forget, like, what should I share today? So that's why I love following other coaches. Just gives me extra inspiration and ideas to be creative. So yeah, I'm going to stop talking, and Michele, I would love to have you share your story.
You're so sweet. It's so funny because I first met you when I went on my first Success Club trip, which was Mexico last year. And I was like, that's when I had just dyed my hair from pink back to like fully blonde. And I was like, oh, this girl is just so cute. And what I loved about you is that you were real. And that's kind of like what I wanted to, I'll dive into that, just being your truly authentically yourself, and you being your weird, awkward, hot mess express. That's okay. And that's what makes you you. And that's what makes people sign up with Colleen rather than me, or, Sarah versus Susie. Like, you just need to own your shit. So I'll just go into my background. So I've been a coach for almost 2 years in August. It'll be 2 years in August. And I was what you would say is like kind of a pretty easy sign up. So I'll give my background. So I played soccer since I was 3 years old, and I wanted to actually try to be the next to like Abby Wambach, Mia Hamm. I was trying out for a semi-pro team, but in high school I actually tore my quad. So that quickly sizzled. And I said, okay, so I'm going to play in college, but I know that I need to go to nursing school. And whatever your profession is, I'm sure you never doubted yourself that that's what you were going to be, right? You knew you were going to go to college, you knew you were going to get that degree, and you knew you were going to be a nurse, a lawyer, an accountant, whatever it was going to be. And it blows my mind that when we say, okay, I'm going to do Beachbody full time, you like automatically start second guessing yourself. But when you were going to be in the corporate world, you knew you were going to be whatever you wanted to be. So I started nursing school and it was hard, but I knew at the end I was going to be a nurse. They said nursing was going to be amazing. You got to work 3 days a week, 12-hour shifts. You get to pick your schedule. It's so flexible. And that's what drawn me to that too, was a flexible schedule. And I put these in quotes because imagine you working your 9-to-5 job, but you spread it over 5 days. Now, what I had to do is I put 36 hours into 3 days, 12 hours at a time at nighttime. So they made this pretty picture, but it wasn't what it was going to be. Like, yes, was the money good? Of course it was. But it came with moral injury, burnout, tiredness, and it actually drove me to start drinking a lot. And my husband at the time, my now ex-husband, he was a nurse as well. So we kind of created this toxic relationship because when I had got married, I was 24, but we liked to drink back then, you know, the 23, 24 stage. Got married when we were 24, and we were both overworked nurses that liked to drink. I mean, I remember it like it was yesterday. I used to work a night shift and go home, grab a beer out of the fridge when I got home, and got into the shower and would crack open a beer and drink in the shower so I could get out of the shower and then go to sleep to go to work the next day. And that's what my routine got into. I was 35 pounds heavier than I am today. I was unhealthy. I worked out at a bougie gym that I now go to, but now I bring my workouts with me. But I went to this bougie gym 6 days a week. I was there for like 2 hours, like wandering around. I wasn't getting results, and I just was existing. I just felt like, what is my purpose in my life right now? And that's when I decided I'm not going to do my specific nursing anymore. So I left an ICU floor to pediatric operating room. I didn't know that I was going to enter in an entire different stress of dealing with kids that were sick and dying and all of the other stuff that comes with that. So I changed my job again, searching for something to make me happy, and I landed into home care. Well, home care landed me into the inner city with gang-related patients, gunshot wound patients, patients that I had to bring a police officer with me because they were known to physically assault female nurses. And again, I was drinking to deal with my abusive relationship at home that I was covering up and hiding from my family. And then covering up my life as a nurse was awful. So the only thing that I can say that when I started into home care, I had more time. I wasn't getting home at 8 o'clock at night. I was getting home around noon because I could schedule my patients. So I was home an evening that, you know, it was newer to me being home in the evening. And I never really got on Facebook, but I got onto Facebook and I had seen my now coach, Ashley, post a picture so happy, and she just looked so happy. And I said to myself, I want to be her. I want to and it was like, do you want to, or something like, it's so nice to be a dog mom and stay home and get paid. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, I want to do what you're doing. So I put I put a post on Facebook. Didn't think she would ever invite me. I didn't even know like a coaching opportunity existed of Beachbody. I just said, I would love to work from home and get paid and take selfies to do it. And she messaged me like an hour later and said, girlfriend, I literally LOL'd at your post. There's a little bit more involved in doing what you want to do full time, but you totally can do this business and work from home. And you could work out from home too. And the nurse in me was like, I don't want to sweat into my own carpet. Like, that's disgusting. I was like, nope. I only have a 2-bedroom house. Like, I don't have mats. I don't want to buy them. Like, no thanks. I was nice, but I was like, no thanks. So a week later, she messaged me again and said, hey, just so you know, your girlfriend signed up. We're going to go to lunch if you want to come. Well, the 35-pound heavier Michele was like, oh, a free lunch. Yeah, I want to go. Sure. So I met them for lunch. And that's where that connection actually really, I hate to say sold me on, but I was missing that type of friendship that was real, that was genuine, because in the nursing world, it's a dog eat dog world, right? You are fighting for the best shift. You're fighting for those weekends off. And with Ashley and I, it wasn't like that. She didn't care about anything to really do with nursing. She just knew that she seen me, how stressed I was, because she was that stressed as a nurse. So I signed up that night and I hit the ground running at that point. But it wasn't just butterflies and rainbows after that point at all. I still had an abusive relationship that I had to come to terms with. So my first program that I did was 21-day fix, and I lost 10 pounds in those 21 days, and I did not drink at all that 21 days. I felt the best that I ever had. I felt like my brain fog completely went away, and I was able to really look and see what my life was. And I know Autumn, and I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Autumn says those little sayings throughout the programs that, like, you can do it. When you can't do one more, do another one, and you want to kill her. But she really gave me that confidence to let me see that the life that I was living, I didn't deserve. I deserved to be loved unconditionally, and so did he. And we didn't love each other anymore. So after that 21 days, I mustered up courage. I packed up my stuff and I left. I got an apartment and I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell my closest friends. I literally got an apartment by myself with my 2 dogs. And I thought, how am I going to make this work? I still have bills. I still have a house in my name. I'm still married. And that's when I really leaned into Beachbody. I mean, the first 6 months of my business was because I had nothing but that. And I seen what it looked, how well this business can work for you if you do the work. And that's where we kind of forget. We think like, oh, well, I posted on social media today. Like, where's all the people at? No, there's so much more that goes into that. So I was waking up at 4:00 in the morning and I was working my business before I even went to work as a nurse. So I was pulling 12-hour days all the time, Monday through Friday with the nursing aspect. And on the weekends, I would bust my butt with this business. And I became happy. And that's what people started noticing. But what other people started noticing, AKA my boss, she noticed that I kind of was putting nursing on the back burner because I heard a coach say, start treating your job like the hobby and this business like your full-time job. And that's what I did. And so my boss called me into work one day and she said, you know, I see you posting about this Beachbody stuff. What are you going to do? Go full-time Beachbody and do that for a living? And I was like, well, I want to, like, it would be nice. And I had actually had a friend that reached out to me that said, you know, I'm going to go travel in North Carolina for travel nursing. Do you want to come with me? And I kind of debated about it. And then that's when, like, the next week, my boss pulled me in and said, what are you going to do this full time? And it's what she said that made me say, game on. I know I'm going to do this business full time. And I'm going to let anybody that's already talked about me behind my back think that this is a joke. I will make it loud and clear that this business works and I do it full time. So I took the job in North Carolina. I gave my 2 weeks to my boss and I took a travel nurse job down in North Carolina. I started submitting my separation paperwork and doing all of that along the way. So what happened is that I actually lived with my second discount coach that I ever signed up. She never mentioned to me that she wanted to do coaching. She had no real thought process of wanting to do coaching. And at the time, I really wasn't reaching out about the coaching opportunity. I was just recruiting boot campers all the time. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that at the end. But I just really want you guys, I know like you, Colleen, wanted to talk about how I've made this business successful, but I promise like it'll come to at the end. So I moved in with my favorite discount coach, and she seen me hustle when I was there. And it's so funny because about 6 months ago, I started giving up on myself. There was coaches that started after me that were doing way better than me. You know, they were already 7-star diamond elite coaches. And that's when I started playing that compare game. And I beat myself up about it because I felt like I needed to be apparently at their chapter 7 when I was only on my own chapter 2. And I started doubting myself. The one time in my business, I took myself off the pedestal and I put somebody else there. And I'm going to talk about that at the end, but that's where I messed up. And that's where the first time in my coaching, I missed Success Club because I was too busy worrying about what everybody else was doing. And I was just trying to take spaghetti and throwing it at the wall and hoping that something sticked. I had no plan of what my business was going to be. I actually filled out my coach cancellation form 6 months ago, and I didn't submit it because I talked to Tabitha and I said, I just don't know if this business is for me. And tell me if you guys can relate to this, that you've said, I can't find the business builders. Where's the people that want to work this business? Where are they? I can't find them. And you're using this negative self-talk, and you're actually telling yourself that you're not finding them and you're not going to find them. You really need to start manifesting your perfect ideal coach, but you need to start showing up like your ideal coach. Every mother licking day, you need to, okay? So I sat down with Tabitha and I said, I think I'm going to turn my coach cancellation form. And she said, I don't know, don't do it yet. Let's wait for the wedding. We'll see, what happens after I was in her sister-in-law's wedding. And I'm like, all right, we have a lot to do for the wedding. I need the extra money because I was still getting residual income. It wasn't as much as what it was in the beginning, but I still was. And I said, I could use the extra money for all the frou-frou stuff for the wedding. So sure, I won't cancel yet. So I went to the wedding. And I met my now boyfriend, who is soon going to be my full-time business partner. And I tell people, it wasn't him who helped me realize what the gold platter that I had in front of me. It's the conversation that we had about what this business can do for his and I's future. By yourself, you can imagine a future, but with somebody else, it's a little bit more fun, right? So we were able to talk about that stuff. And he helped me talk out loud, which then made me listen to myself like, oh my God, yes, I can buy a house again, even though I already have a house. I can buy a house in Florida too. I can retire you. I can retire myself, and I can do this freaking business. So starting in September, I didn't turn in my coach cancellation form, obviously, because I wouldn't be here speaking to all of you beautiful people. But I started showing up again like I did when I first started this business. When I like to make it like when I first started this business, I was a baby. I was failing, but I was failing forward. I was trying to walk, I'd fall, but I got back up, right? A baby doesn't fall. I'm sure you've heard this before. A baby doesn't like fall and say, oh, forget it, I'm not going to walk, right? But in the beginning of my business, that was me. I just kept trying and trying. If that didn't work, I tried something else, and my paychecks showed for that. So in September, I started working like that again. I was waking up at 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, doing my personal development and sending 100 invites every single day, because I knew that I was so freaking capable of doing this business. And I decided I'm done putting up everybody on the pedestal. It's time for me to put myself up there again. And I hustled, and I kept it simple. And I went and worked my business in the morning. And then I went and worked my nursing in the afternoons. And I, again, made my business my priority and my nursing my hobby. And that's when people again said, I can see you're so happy again in your life. Like, what are you doing? And I just it gets me so emotional to think that we're so quick to give up on ourselves. We're so quick to throw in the towel, but we don't even know what we're capable of if we really put the work to it. So I wrote down, I hope that like kind of like full circle for you guys, but I just wrote down a couple of things like for what has now made me so successful in the past 6 months. Because when we think when you're going to be an elite coach, you kind of put it like super far off in the future. But for me, I turned the volume all the way up and like we're on track to hit elite this year. And I've just been hustling the past 6 months. So can you imagine what you do this year if you turned the volume all the way up right now with you and your team and you started treating this business like a business? So there's a couple things. So on your Instagram, I watch my coaches and I suggest this to my new coaches is that you really need to talk about the problem that whatever you had, because Colleen's different than me. We've both had different struggles, but that's okay because that's the person you're going to connect to. So you need to explain the struggle that you had and how you have the solution. And you explain what your solution is, which is obviously full circle Beachbody in a non-salesy way. That's one of the main things that I love to do on my Instagram. The other thing I said that I wrote down to make sure to tell you guys that this business works if you do the work. Unfortunately, we live in this instant gratification world where we think that we need to be a 15-star diamond like yesterday. But if I asked you guys, like Ashley Mole said right now, she's hitting like Success Club 150 every month. You're sitting here saying you want to hit those high numbers, but if you look at your business as a whole, if you were hitting 100 Success Club 100 every single month, would you be able to even know what to do with all of those coaches and boot campers? Like truthfully, can you say what you would know what to do? Because I don't. I know that her chapter 100, I cannot even compare to what mine is right now. So just think about that when you're trying to say, I want Success Club 20 or 50 or whatever it is. You have to be able to back up to give those people the attention that they deserve and need in order to be successful in this business. I know you've heard this before, but use the freaking success tracker. I talked to Ashley this morning and I said, I feel like I'm going to talk to all these people and I'm only a 1-star diamond. And like, what do I have to share that can help them? And Ashley's like, are you kidding me? She's like, you keep it simple. That's what makes you amazing. And she goes, that's what makes me keep in check because I want to make the pretty graphics and the pretty PowerPoint. And that's not a business building activity. You keep it simple. You keep it simple to build your business further every single day. And that's how I do it, is making sure that I do not go to bed until I check off every single thing on that Success Club tracker. Because sometimes I feel like new coaches, people are like, oh, there's so much to do. There's this call and there's this call. And like what you were just saying, Colleen, is that you're giving these people all of the calls, which is amazing. But make sure you're prioritizing it too, along with that success tracker, which leads me into making sure you have a monthly marketing plan every single month. If you who knows when their next coach sneak peek is? If you don't know when your next, oh my God, say that 5 times fast. Next coach sneak peek is, you need to figure that out. When's your next boot camp starting? When are you inviting for that? When are you switching it over to your sneak peek? That's important. Google doesn't just decide on a whim when they're going to start marketing for their next new thing. They plan months in advance. I can tell you when my coach sneak peek is, all the way up to like October, I think I have it. And that's what helps me stay on track. What I said earlier, making sure that you put yourself on a pedestal. I tell my coaches all the time, every single one of you has $1 million story. We all have different things that make us incredible. And you truly need to start believing that. And when you put yourself on that pedestal and you take whatever coach or whoever you have up there, and you put yourself up there, you rise to the occasion. And just know that you can be that amazing coach. You can get there. It just takes time. And then lastly, I just wanted to say that it's easy to do this business when you're surrounded like on a team call with 34 people. It's easy to say, yes, tomorrow I'm waking up and I'm going to do this business. But unfortunately, you're not going to wake up to me or Colleen snuggled in your bed to say, good morning, it's time to send invites. Like, I wish that could happen, but it's not. So you need to clap for yourself when you're alone. You need to show up for yourself when you have nobody else. You need to send another invite when you can't send one more. Thank you.
I'm trying to do emojis in the chat and it's not working. Oh, we got a hand clap there. Okay, so there's a couple, I didn't want to interrupt you because you're a great speaker, by the way.
Oh.
I could listen. Your story, I feel like the way you share it is just so important for people to hear that. And I didn't even know the cancellation thing. And guys, there's been so many moments, even more so in like my year 5 to I'm almost year 6 now, where there's so many doubts because you feel like all these expectations that, I'm supposed to live up to, like, why aren't I a 10-star diamond? And it's so easy to get in our own head, which is why this team is a huge personal development mindset junkie kind of team, because it's going to drive your every behavior and your every move. And thank goodness you had people like surrounding you telling you to not submit. Like if she didn't share that with, was it Tabitha, is that her name? Yeah. With Tabitha, Michele might have submitted that. That's why I was actually typing in the chat box, don't be an island. Like it's so important for our team to be close, show up to events, share things. And I feel like we have such a good thing going on right now. I'm mainly really speaking to the newbies, the new coaches who are on this call that are trying to figure out, like, first, am I going to make the decision to do this business? Like, where are you at in that decision-making process? And then the moment that you make the decision, like Michele did again back in September, then you have a plan, which is pretty much your Success Club business activity tracker. And then you get to decide the intensity that you put into that. If you guys notice, on the tracker, guys, there's not send 100 invites in one day. If you do that, you're all in, like, I want to leave my job. This is my plan A. I have no plan B kind of thing. Guys, the Success Club tracker, we're asking you to send like 5 to 10 invites a day. It might even say 3, but I'm going to say 5 to 10. So don't overwhelm yourself with the idea of what it's going to take to see success and momentum. Just commit. I made a video in the team page last night, like, what if you just threw all the fear and the what if out of the window and just showed up and did the minimum for 30, 60, 90 days? You guys will be pleasantly surprised by following that. And the 7-day New Coach University that we have is super simple. We have great guest speakers in there. And I forget what else I was going to say. Oh, the other thing I always say is, like, get extreme results for yourself. Yeah. When I go and I backtrack with like any of my coaches or coaches that I'm helping, whether they're in my downline or even other coaches that message me on Instagram. Oh my God, Nixon's losing it. I'm distracted because I can hear him melting down for no reason. If I didn't have results, and even in my business when I don't have results, I don't feel like I can invite. I don't feel like I should invite. I don't feel worthy enough to invite. And so getting extreme results as a new coach to me is like level 1, step 1 of being committed as a coach. Because the moment that you're feeling good about your results, it is so much easier to share that story every single day on social media. You feel better emotionally, you feel better mentally. And I don't know about you guys, but I just feel like I have no problem inviting to my boot camp or to coaching when I'm getting my own results, because I know what it does for my life. So there were so many other things I wanted to say that might come to me, but do you guys have any questions for Michele? I have one, but I want to see if you guys have questions for someone who just left her job to coach full time, that is obviously crushing it. You guys can unmute yourself or type it in the box. I could talk forever. Usually we're good at questions. Might take someone a second, but. Okay, Michele, talk to me while they think of a question. There has to be a couple, right? I already asked you this via text, but I'd love for the team to hear. So when you sit down to do your business building activities for the day, and you are looking to invite like a coach. I guess this is a two-part question. You want to go invite a coach, and then you want to invite a boot camper. What does that process kind of look like for you?
So I always invite from who's watching my story first, because obviously if they're watching me, they either think I'm funny or they're mocking me or they want to join my boot camp or coaching. And so I send two different invites. The coaching one, I do use a third party for my following and my unfollowing. I use Jumper Media. I know there's a lot of controversy about using a third party whatever, but I've used it from the second month that I've been a coach, and I've never had any issues with them. I actually, like, they're logged in as like me, and I have specific people that they follow: nurses, dog moms, girls with their head half shaved, a couple like scrub companies, etc. And they've really narrowed down my niche of people, because what was happening is that I was just inviting anybody and everybody, and I was taking a heartbeat. But it's really hard to like invite somebody that you don't have anything in common with. So they really helped my following be pretty niche specific. It's a lot of healthcare professionals and nurses, mostly a lot of nurses. And so my nursing invite is, so I guess I have three. So if it's a nurse, I say, hey girl, I see that you're a nurse too. Actually, let me read it to you. And 90, I'm making up this statistic, but like the nurses were like, I never really get no's. I get ghosts. Some people ghost me, but a lot of the people either say what's in more detail, blah, 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 blah. So the nurse one is, hey sister, I'm enrolling some other RNs in my boot camp coming up in the next few weeks, and I wanted to reach out to you to see if you wanted to do it too. We as nurses never get to put ourselves first, and this boot camp will help you do that. Would you be down to do it? P.S. It'll fit in with your crazy nurse schedule. So even if you're not a nurse, whatever your profession is or what it was, you can still speak to that person if they are your tribe with their problem of being busy, blah, 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 and, present them the boot camp opportunity. And then I know I sent to you, Colleen, before my regular hey message. So this is to anybody that's not a nurse or somebody that I wouldn't invite to the coaching opportunity, because I do cold coaching invites as well. And so just my plain one is, hi, I'm enrolling for this month's boot camp again, and it's paired with a simple nutrition plan, and it's perfect for busy people. I'm also raffling off gift cards and pre-workout that I love. Would you want to do it? With like a bunch of cartwheel emojis. People love free shit. For whatever reason, you can send them a pre-workout packet in the mail, and they will love you forever. And I'm kind of like, hence why I went to a free lunch when I first signed up, right? That's my tribe. I know that my tribe wants free stuff. And especially, I call my my pre-workout, my nurse crack. So a lot of the nurses are like, what is that? I'm like, girlfriend, you need this on your night shift. And if you're not drinking this at your night shift, you're crazy. And that's what enrolls them for my boot camp. Now, if it's a coaching invite, I say, hi girl, I see that you're into health and wellness as well. Have you ever considered getting paid for what you do and be an online fitness coach? And a lot of those people respond with, yes, I have, but I don't even know where to begin. And so, or they'll say, I want to, but I'm scared. I don't know like where to start. And I then respond with, and people really have loved this message. I actually just came up with this a few weeks ago. I say, I felt the same way when I started, but I never claimed to be a personal trainer or nutritionist. The platform I use has all of that set up for people. We are the motivators / influencers. I was actually a full-time nurse and then matched my income and do this full coaching full-time now. I have a platform that I use, but I get to brand myself as I wish. If you have time this weekend, I can FaceTime you and explain it more too. I always think it's so much easier than texting. And I've been like I told you the other day, I've been getting on one-on-one calls with people, random people on Instagram. I'm FaceTiming them on the Instagram app. And what I've realized is the mediocre coach is the one that will just like want to sign them up right away to get the Success Club points. The great coach that's going to turn them into a leader says, I want to get on a one-on-one call with you so you can see if you vibe with me, see if this is something you really want to do. Because now that I'm full-time, and especially when I was part-time, I want the real serious people. I want the people that are taking this seriously. And so the one-on-one calls have really weeded people out, but I'd say I've been on maybe so far since I've been doing it, 8-9 one-on-one calls, and I've had 6 new coaches from that, and 5 of them are emeralds already. So I just think it really does give you more of a personal touch rather than the coach that doesn't really give them that one-on-one time that they need. And if you've read the book Built to Last by Keith Callahan, like Colleen suggested that, and I've been listening to it, and he even says that he has a whole application process because he wants to build another leader. Like he wants people to see that you're not kidding around and that they're not just another number, that they truly are a person on that other end of that Success Club point. So sorry, that was a really long answer, but
no, this is good. Like people are loving it, and you totally like fit in with our tribe of how we do things. And some coaches on this team, like some days I do cold invites and some days I start warm and I'm just like, hello. And then if they talk to me, then I cold invite. And so like you guys get to decide how you invite, but you have to have the courage to invite. And I think before we even get to the inviting process, like go through this, or I should say, not before you get to the inviting process, before you feel like you're in your groove every day of the invite process, this 7-day New Coach University is what you guys need. Like Erin helped you guys get your mindset right. I set the expectation. Candace is talking about social media. So now our foundation is built. Today, Erin dove in to the vitals and talking about the checklist that we were just talking about. But what I wanted to say with inviting, so now like, we built this foundation, you guys are feeling in your groove, you're getting results. Now let's dive into inviting because the rest of your business will involve in inviting and connecting. I started talking to my coach, Liz, which by the way, Keith is my coach's coach. So that's her mentor. And I've always been a person who wants to recruit quality over quantity. I used to hit crazy Success Club numbers back in the day, and it just never filled my cup personally. But when I find the coach who gets it and makes that connection, that lights me on fire for like 60 days. And I love pouring into that person because they're showing up. But what Liz was talking about is how she's cherry picking the people that she wants to join her team. So Liz always hit Success Club 10. That's what we always strive for. But she's like, I'm looking for 3 to 5 business builders out of that. And so what she means by cherry picking is it might take, this is the painful part because it takes patience. And this is the part that I think most people won't adopt. And it's a struggle for me. But when you're building these relationships and messaging someone that you're like, I want you on my team, like you're talking back and forth. She's messaging me because Nixon, this and that, or I'm messaging her because her dog was super cute jumping in the lake today. Like this actually happened today. I was just building this relationship. And I have invited her, but it's just not the right time for her. But she says that she's going to think about it. And we're just going to continue to build this relationship. Focus on the idea of when you're talking to people, like I started messaging like a lot of people on my Instagram. And someone actually, since we've been on this call, just messaged me back and said, thank you so much. I love following you because your account isn't fake and you share the real life stuff. People want to know that you're real when you're sending these messages, which brings me to the second part of what I was going to say. Liz, my coach, is huge about getting people on the phone because, again, it makes you real. Now, I don't do it for everyone. It has to be someone who's really interested. It has to be someone who's like, I'm vibing with. Sometimes I just send videos. And then if they message me back and they're like, totally, again, vibing back and forth, we hop on the phone. You guys get to decide how you do that, but just build up the courage and the confidence to start talking to people using these simple invites. And I think Brittany, I don't even know your last name now. Is it Tolson, Brittany? Your old last name? I think it is. Sorry if I'm saying it. She just like changed her last name. So Brittany Tolson, she was trying and digging her heels in and always saying like, am I missing something? And really beat herself up, kind of like I have, kind of like Michele did in her past story. And she just hit Success Club 54 last month, recruited, I think, 20 coaches last month, and is absolutely crushing it, is making more than she was as a paramedic, I think she did like kindergarten teaching, all of that. So moral of the story, guys, you have to dig your heels in and start to master these invitations. And it's going to take you as a business owner a while to figure out what your groove is going to be. I'm still always because the social media changes, the way that we talk. Instagram stories didn't exist a couple years ago. So dig your heels in now and build up that habit to master it, because it's going to become second nature. Like Michele can wake up and do 100 invites because guess what? She practiced and she did it. So
can I say one thing, Colleen?
Of course.
I have a hair in my mouth. I was just thinking, and I'm sure like you tell this to all your new coaches, but just really making sure with I know you said Candace already went live about Instagram. I was actually going to watch that because you added me to your team page, but making sure that your Instagram tells people like your first 9 photos should really be like the pie chart of the 5 things that you are outside of like being a coach. So like mine, you'll see my dogs, you'll see my family, you'll see my friends. And that's why I tell people, a lot of people when they get on the one-on-one calls with me is like, well, what do you do? Like, do you work for yourself? They never know I'm even a Beachbody coach because I don't have Beachbody plastered across my chest like this Duke sweatshirt. I'm me. I'm Michele, because they want to sign up with you. You have the solution for them. We just use the beautiful platform of Beachbody. So you'll never see me like in my stories. Yes, do I hint what I'm doing? Of course. But you'll never see me posing. And if you scroll back to when I first started coaching, I was so bad. I'm like, oh my God, that was so terrible. But I'll never like hold my energize. And I mean, if that's you, that's perfect. But I just want you to realize that you can be more than just the mediocre coach that people think about when they think of Beachbody, holding a Shakeology cup, smiling in front of a thing, flexing or whatever. You can build your own brand of the dog mom, the girl with the really cool blue pink hair that I see on here, which I love, or the girl with the really cool shaved head. Like, that's the beautiful thing about this social media. And I tell people too, not only has using Beachbody as a platform been able to replace my full-time income, but now I'm an Amazon influencer and I get paid from Amazon to have an Amazon storefront, and it's another stream of income. So there's more ways of being able to be an Instagram influencer other than our health and fitness. It can be makeup, hair, clothing. You can be so much more. So make sure that you guys are really branding yourself, not just plastering Beachbody everything that you are. Don't get me wrong. Of course, I love Beachbody. I bleed Beachbody blue, but you need to brand yourself to attract your tribe. So you're not just that other Instagram girl, because you have 3 seconds for somebody to say, I like her, I'm going to follow her, or I'm just going to keep scrolling through.
And I find that the biggest question from coaches, so true, Michele, is how do I find my brand? I don't know who I am. I don't know who my niche is. And that right there is the answer in itself. Going through the self-discovery, going through the PD, going through the growth, and having the confidence that you're going to figure it out. I think that's a pain point for a lot of people. Been there. I wasn't a mom before. Like, I thought I had to be a mom to be successful in this business. And now that I'm a mom, I'm like, oh my God, it's freaking crazy. So I actually in my PD was reading about how women need to learn how to deal with discomfort, because most of us shut down or we freak out or anxiety or this and that. And there's a lot of like women's health terms that are associated, adrenal fatigue. There's all these things. And it's because we're just not okay with sitting in that discomfort and learning how to grow through it. And that's just like the biggest thing for me in my coaching. If anyone was to ask me what's brought me to success, it's the stretching and the personal growth to get there. Like, yeah, the invite's cool, but if I didn't do the growth to give me the courage to do the invites and to be rejected and to be quitted on, I don't think I'd be where I'm at. So yes, I was reading the comments. For those watching the recording, write down 5 things about yourself that is not Beachbody, and that's what you talk about. And if you don't have them, insert what I just said. Self-discovery, you're growing, you're learning, go try something new. What did Candace once say? When someone said, I don't have a life, she said, get a life. I tell that all the time because it's like the best thing she ever said. Yeah, oh, she just posted that. Get a life. Yep.
And you know what too, Colleen, if you haven't in a while, which I remind Ashley a lot about this a lot, 2 years ago or when I first signed up or whatever, I used to go to Ashley's house for team call and there'd be like 5 people on her team call, including me sitting next to her. And today we'd have like what you said, 50 to at least 100 people on our team calls. And that was a year and a half ago. So there's so much that can happen. But what I tell Ashley is I'm like, Ashley, you need to find an old team call of yours and post it for people, because right now people see where you and I are in this business today. They didn't see the buck-toothed me a year and a half ago or whatever. So if you have any old like team calls, I suggest you posting it, because I think your new coaches will love that because it's so freaking relatable. And even myself, I post mine, I'm like, I was so bad. That was so terrible. And it's just a really cool thing, I think, for newer coaches to remember, like, started from the bottom, now we're here. Like, we all start somewhere. You just have to start.
I actually have videos. So Keith Callahan and my coach Liz, when they saw me starting to rise and like dig in and love it, they challenged me and they said, we need you to speak to like the network. This was before Zoom, guys. This is how freaking old it is. We had conference calls. So there was no Zoom, and I read a script of what I wrote because I couldn't speak like this. I had no idea what I was doing. And that was like the first thing. And then they challenged me to make videos to train people on how to hit diamond, and I have those saved. And A, what was I wearing? B, it's so awkward. The camera was so bad. No, I should definitely share it with you guys. Okay, that was kind of a side tangent for me, but I had to tell you guys that. Do you guys have any last minute questions for Michele? No one has a question. I'm actually shocked. Did I miss any questions? No.
It's okay. They're all going to hang up and they're all going to send 100 invites tonight. I'm just kidding.
Guys, I'll take 10 invites. I know that there's coaches on this call right now that A, don't post on social media every day. B, haven't decided if they're going to coach. C, haven't invited. Go to that 7-day new coach training and do it. Like, if you guys will just partner with us side by side and say, like, I'm going to do it, I need to show myself what I'm made of. For the people that are fearful, lacking confidence, feeling whatever the BS reason is, to be honest, you get to, like, prove to yourself that you can do it. And the only way to figure out if you're going to rock this or not is to make the decision to go after it. Because sitting there is more painful. It's like you're not ripping that Band-Aid off. Everyone is processing. That's okay. Well, I won't keep you then, Michele. But thank you so much. Your story is amazing. You're inspiring. And I can't wait to hug you at Summit.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'll see you at the elite party.
I won't be there.
Why?
I didn't hit elite last year.
Perfect. You can push with me this year.
Okay.
Candace
takes 5-star tomorrow. I think, right? Tomorrow's Thursday?
Yes. Congratulations. It's amazing.
So she can just take us to the parties.
There you go. Ask her for the +1.
All
Can
right.
we do a boomerang quick, please?
Can you what?
Can we do a boomerang?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let me flip this around.
Tell us when.
1, 2, 3. All right. Okay. I'll tag you.
You're the best. And Candace, I can't wait to shout you and your girls out tomorrow. I think everything's good to go unless I missed something, but that is a huge, I have to like figure out how are we going to celebrate. Tricky. All right. We love you guys. Thank you so much, Michele, and everyone that came. I'll see you guys later.